blog, or if you're my friend, but most people, because of a pizza topping or an embellishment martini, will do either one of those. So basically, I am a writer in New York City, but my bread and butter is my blog, allofthepeople.com, and it's this is a whole kind of like celebration of that. So the first performer that I have coming up, her name is Casey. Woo!
I just wanted to start off by saying that since a big reason we're all here is Olive's success as a blogger, I thought it would only be suiting if I talked about the birth and demise of my own New York City blog, titled Sorority Girls in the Hood. Sitting at the table was JR. JR was a businessman, and they were celebrating either a merger, a christening, a birth, I don't know what, but they were celebrating. They were drunk, they were on maybe their 8th martini, and they wanted to talk to me. And before I left, JR pulled me aside and said, "Hey, here's my card. I run a hedge fund, and I think you'd be a wonderful addition to our roster." "All right, buddy, thanks." I took his card, rolled my eyes a little, and left. I called him, we talked, it was all real. He did work at a hedge fund. He asked me for me to send my resume over to him, so I did so. I spent 3 weeks, almost a month on interviews. They asked me the usual stuff, tell me about yourself, where was I from. Then I got a call. Meet JR's longtime assistant for brunch on a Friday morning. She had been with the company for about 10 years, and she wanted to know a little bit more about me. Then she hit me with it. They had found sorority girls in the hood. Everything. Word for word. Sure, I had changed my name, but she asked me all those questions for a reason. "Oh, what's your sister's name? Oh, what wine shop do you go to on your block? Oh, what neighborhood do you live in?" They were all directly tied to my blog. I politely defended my actions and stood behind what I had written, but they were concerned that I would write about them or the owner would find out. I knew it was over. 3 days later, I got the last call. I was no longer in the running, and they were truly sorry. I had moved to New York City to be a writer, and the only thing that I had written had fucked up the best opportunity I would ever get in my 20s. I was so embarrassed that I thought the only way to make it better was to delete Sorority Girls in the Hood. Today I just have the memory of what it was, and thankfully some of you do too. But my point is, Olive, keep writing. So don't turn your back on what you've written or what you've composed. Art is a part of you, and I think that's a really important message for tonight. Thanks.
Thanks, Casey. It's amazing. Our next person that's coming up, his name is Chris.
This first poem is about the time that I got drunk for the first time. I was on a bicycle when it happened. To steal from Casey, I MacGyvered my mother's liquor cabinet open, and I picked the coolest sounding liquor Beefeaters. I poured it into a water bottle and rigged it to my Huffy 10-speed and biked around town. And there were garage sales, so I found myself wasted and looking at things that people wanted to throw away. Flashlight. The first time I get drunk, I feel my 10-speed's water bottle with gin pedal the sidewalks to garage sales. The sky smells like an apology, and the words in my mouth are yellow jackets that sting and die. So skinny, I can be paperclipped to a blade of grass. I teeter the yield signs and find the next town over, buy a cracked flashlight for $1 because I can't think the way I did the hour before. The sun now isn't a sun, just a lurking animal licking the world dark. It's fall before I find my street again. I wear gloves to separate my fingers from themselves. The eager world is cold, my face a scrap of soft fabric. All the way home, I flick on and off the flashlight, trying to memorize in its beam the neighborhood leaking past, the raised mailbox flags, the unlit windows.
Next up, we have my friend Andy. Andy and I went to high school together, and he's going to be our little our music entertainment for tonight. I think you guys will be really pleased with this. So, Andy?
Yeah! My jam!
If we were 13, we'd be making out right now. Now, the majority of my friends at the time were listening to AC/DC, and Kiss, and Led Zeppelin, but why bother? The majority of middle school girls that I knew at the time weren't getting down to Tangerine or Immigrant Song. You know what girls in middle school were getting down to. Collide by Howie Day. Yeah. And Hey There Delilah. Like, anyone remember that gem? That was basically a classic. And Daughters. I mean, come on, Daughters.
I feel like I'm DJing the first time you played Spin the Bottle. And it feels so right.
I have since realized that what was once a tool from the gods made me a tool from the gods. So I come before you to say that it's okay to change and to grow and to learn, because I grew. I began to play guitar for musical enjoyment, and not just solely to pick up women. And I've realized that I can do that, and you can too. But just in case anyone wants to make out, I'll be over there playing your bodies in right now.
Alfie refused to let me know what he was speaking about tonight, just that he was going to talk about dating in the city. I take no responsibility. Where'd you get that?
It works.
I take no responsibility for what he says, but I'm proud to call him my friend. So, Alfie?
So it's all about the difference between dating in Europe and dating in the US, and especially in New York. And in Europe, it all feels so natural. You know, you go on a date and you talk. You can fool a girl. I'm so interesting. Yes, I have all these. I'm Italian. In New York, none of this. They start understanding you the moment you sit down. So, where do you live in New York? Trying to assess how much money you make every month. I live in Tribeca. Maybe he's interesting. You work in, what's your job? I work in between politics and finance. Finance. Money. Okay, let's go on in the conversation. No, and that's with the boxing part. So I literally, I had moments I was going on a cab home with this girl, and she was like, "Oh, you're really my European prince." And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" And because you don't split checks. And I'm like, so whatever. But and then another time, I have tattoos. I have 5. No, and here tattoo is like either you are a hipster, so you're allowed to have tattoos, or you're not, so you're not allowed to have tattoos. So I went out with this Jewish girl. Who's Jewish here? And she was like, "You know, I really like you, but I would never be able to introduce you to my parents." And I was like, "Well, I'm a nice guy, you know." Because you have tattoos. And I was like, "You're fucking serious." She was serious, as a matter of fact. So I learned how to bring my resume to dates. I've been to a top school, and I've worked in a very successful environment. I'm very successful. I want to have my own business one day. That's so American. No, I want to have my own business.
Ever since I was little, I've been inclined toward fantasies. The first well-developed one I remember was started in the 1st grade. This was the year I started a gymnastics troup's all-girls band out of my friends from school called the Sugar Girls. This wasn't a voluntary activity. I snuck their binding contracts into conversations like, "Hey guys, did you see the Spice Girls on TV last night? Did you know that we're in a traveling gymnastics troupe band Called the Sugar Girls? No? Well, in that case, I'm really glad I told you. I totally consider this conversation a binding signature on an exclusive rights talents contract. Of course, this would only be the precursor of things to come for me. I planned to be an Olympic gymnast by the time I was 14. Then, the year after I won gold, I'd pull a Beyonce and go solo, take over the charts with my amazing vocal abilities, and killer dance moves at a younger age than Britney Spears did. I figured these two seemingly unconnected skills would integrate, and that being a gymnast would make for some really awesome music videos. I couldn't wait to be interviewed by Carson Daly. He would totally fall in love with me. I've been running for about an hour, my whole body hurts, the blister on the arch of my foot is starting to reopen, my thighs are on fire. There's no better time to indulge in a little fantasy-driven fiction. Here are some of my personal favorites. The first, I'm in Maxim. I'm not on the cover, I'm just like featured in some list of some sort. Within this fantasy, I have a few different options to choose from. Sometimes I've been featured because I'm one of Maxim's hottest extreme sport athletes. It all started when I moved to Patagonia in Argentina and began snowboarding every day. And of course, with all of this practice, my skills inevitably led the snowboarding company Bergen to scout me. I was, of course, the first girl they ever sponsored, and no one said my fantasies have to be historically accurate. Anyway, so Maxim saw me in some snowboarding competition where I launched over a road and did a backflip over a semi-truck, and they were like, that's definitely the hottest girl we've ever seen.
Next two pieces are examples of what I've written, and I've written both of them with a little bit of help from, my guy friends, because I'm not a guy, surprise. Long night out. Face looking particularly janky. 10 beers in. Sucks for you, boys. You see, no such dilemma resonates in the woman world. Let's say that you're a decently attractive individual, a 6 or so, and maybe the night before you went out, you OD'd on some fireball shots, hashtag 2013, 2014, and the next morning you're looking a little bit like a freak, but bam, 3 coats of mascara, a spray tan, and 1 epic shower later, I'm looking like a Beyonce .5, and you're just over there looking kind of like the doppelganger of Chewbacca for the rest of the day. It's going to be your peak, and that sucks for you.
Sir? Gentlemen? Yes. Now, being a man fucking rocks.
Damn straight!
I don't want to come off acting superior to women.
Go on!
Apparently chicks, they don't like that.
Nope.
Or I don't want to truly bash all females in one swing. Because, once again, they're very touchy.
Preach.
But, I also think that there are some things that all men and all women, they just damn need to know.
7 reasons why it feels damn good to be a man.
Go! Yeah! See, that's all you need to say, yeah.
Feels good to be a winner every goddamn time. Because...
Do you see this smile? Yeah!
Every goddamn time.
I want to thank everybody for coming here tonight because it made me realize that following my dreams really was worth the call.